How to get a glute shelf as a skinny girl. That rounded, lifted look where the glutes actually project out from the side profile instead of just sitting flat. And if you're naturally skinny like me, tall, or have a smaller lower body, you already know this doesn't come easy. We're going to go straight into the 4 exercises that matter most for creating that shelf. Cable kickbacks, step-ups, hip thrusts, but the most valuable part of this video will be me explaining exactly how to do those movements properly to maximize what you get out of the exercise for your glute shelf. I'll also break down common mistakes for those exercises as well as how to structure your weight, reps, and sets for real growth. I always start my workouts with abductions because they're honestly one of my favorite ways to get my glutes fired up before anything heavy. They're definitely not the main shelf builder, but they play a huge role in adding shape and roundness that really completes the look. Abductions primarily target the glute medius and minimus, which help lift the upper glutes and give that fuller, more rounded appearance. When these muscles are activated and developed, the whole glute area just looks more balanced and sculpted instead of flat or underwhelming. When I'm setting up, I sit tall and right toward the edge of the seat, keep my core engaged, and focus on pushing my knees out slowly and with control. I'm not rushing these at all. I pause at the top of every rep to really squeeze and feel the glutes working. Then I control the way back down. I never let the weight slam and I'm not swinging my legs for momentum. This is not the kind of exercise. Slow, controlled reps with constant tension are what actually make the difference here. If you're flying through them, you're missing the point and honestly just cheating yourself. I also love supersetting abductions because it takes the burn to another level and really gets the glutes activated. Supersets are basically doing 2 sets back to back with no rest in between. I'll start with my working weight and knock out 10 solid control reps. Then immediately drop the weight down to my warm-up weight and do another 10 reps without stopping. Each new working set, I'll increase the weight, but within each superset, I keep the same weight so the tension stays consistent. By the time I'm done, my glutes are fully fired, pumped, and ready for the rest of the workout. And trust me, you'll feel it. 4 working sets with the superset being your warm-up weight. For our second workout, cable kickbacks. Cable kickbacks are one of the most misunderstood glute exercises, especially for skinny girls. Most people either go way too heavy, swing their leg, or don't understand that the angle of the kick determines which part of the glutes you're actually working. Your glutes are made up of 3 muscles, the glute maximus, medius, and minimus. If your goal is a shelf, that projection outward, the glute maximus is the star of the show. That muscle is responsible for hip extension, meaning when you drive your legs straight back. When you kick your legs straight back behind you, slightly downward, you're primarily targeting the glute maximus. When you kick at about a 45-degree angle, slightly diagonal, you're shifting more emphasis onto the glute medius and minimus. Those muscles help with the roundness and shape, especially from the side and upper glute area. Both angles are important, but if you only ever kick diagonally, you're missing out on a maximum shelf potential. Set the cable at the lowest position and attach an ankle strap. Stand facing the machine and hold onto the frame for stability. I like to put a plate underneath my foot to step on since I'm tall. It elevates your standing leg, allowing for a deeper range of motion, preventing your working foot from hitting the ground and helping to isolate glute muscle better, especially for targeting the upper glutes. Your torso should be slightly hinged forward, but your spine stays neutral. This is not a lower back exercise. Start with your warm-up set using a lighter weight than you think you need. Focus on squeezing your glute before you even move your leg. Think about pushing your heel back, not lifting your foot. As you kick back, stop when your glute is fully contracted. You don't need to kick sky high. Overkicking usually means your lower back is doing the work instead of your glutes. Once you get to the top, squeeze and hold for a second. The biggest mistake here is using momentum. If your body is rocking back and forth, you're cheating the movement. Another common mistake is letting your leg bend too much. This turns it into more of a hamstring movement. Also, don't rush your reps. A slow, controlled kickback with a pause at the top will always beat heavy weight with sloppy form. Do 4 sets per leg. So set 1, warm up, lighter weight, 10 to 12 reps. Sets 2 to 3, which is your working sets, increase weight slightly each set, 8 to 6 reps. Focus on straight back kickbacks for at least 2 of your working sets, and you can use a diagonal angle for 1 set to hit the upper glute. Progressive overload is key. Aim to increase weight or reps week to week. For our third workout, step-ups. Step-ups are going to humble you, and if they don't, you're probably not doing them right. When done correctly, they're one of the most underrated unilateral exercises for building a glute shelf. They force each side to work independently, which means there's nowhere to hide. Your glutes are doing the work one leg at a time, and that's exactly why they're so effective. Step-ups put your glutes under tension in a stretched position, especially when the box or bench is high enough. That stretch at the bottom combined with the drive upward is what makes them such a strong shelf builder over time. The glute maximus has to work hard to push your body up and stabilize you at the top, which helps create that rounded, lifted look. They also do a great job exposing imbalances. If one glute is weaker than the other, you'll feel it immediately, usually on the first few reps. That's a good thing because fixing imbalances is key for symmetry and overall glute development. Box height matters a lot here. Your box or bench should be high enough that your knee is at least parallel to the floor or even slightly above when your foot is planted on it. If the box is too low, your quads will take over and you'll miss out on a lot of glute activation. Place your foot entirely on the box, not just your toes, and keep your shin relatively vertical. This helps shift the load into your glutes instead of dumping it into your knees. Start with dumbbells at your sides so you can focus on balance and control before going heavier. For your warm-up set, go lighter and really dial in your form. Drive through your heel to stand up and think about pushing the box away from you. The leg that's on the ground should be doing as little work as possible. It's there for balance, not momentum. Don't push off, don't jump, and don't bounce into the rep. At the top, fully extend your hip and squeeze your glute for a second before slowly lowering back down. The descent is just as important as the lift, and controlling it is where a lot of the growth happens. One of the biggest mistakes I see is people rushing their reps or using the ground leg to launch themselves upward. If you're bouncing, your glutes aren't actually doing the work. Other common mistakes are letting the knee cave inward or losing control of your balance. Keep your knee tracking over your toes and your core engaged. Finally, pay attention to your torso position. Avoid leaning too far forward or rocking backward at the top. Your torso should stay relatively upright so the glutes stay loaded and doing their job. Slow, controlled reps with intention will light your glutes up fast, and yes, they're supposed to feel hard. That's how you know they're working. Set 1, warm up, lighter weight, 10 reps per leg. Sets 2 to 3, which is your working sets, increase weight each set, so that's 8 to 6 reps per leg. Step-ups don't need crazy weight to be effective. What matters is control and consistency. For our fourth workout, hip thrust. If you want a real glute shelf, hip thrusts are non-negotiable. They're one of the best exercises for directly loading the glute maximus in its strongest and most effective position. What makes hip thrusts so powerful is that they place the most tension on the glutes at the very top of the movement, which is exactly where the shelf is visually built. That constant top end tension is what helps create that lifted, round, stacked look everyone wants. On top of that, hip thrusts are amazing for progressive overload, meaning you can continue to add weight over time in a way that's both safe and efficient without beating up your lower back. For me personally, I love doing them on the Smith machine. For a proper setup, your upper back should be supported against the bench with your feet flat on the floor and about shoulder width apart. Your shins should be close to vertical at the top of the movement. Keep your chin tucked the entire time. Don't throw your head back or stare at the ceiling. That usually leads to overextending and taking tension off the glutes. Instead, keep your gaze forward or slightly down so your spine stays neutral. At the top of the thrust, think ribs down, core braced, pelvis slightly tucked, and glutes fully squeezed. You should feel a strong contraction right at the lockout without arching your lower back. Drive through your heels as you push your hips up and stop once your torso is parallel to the floor. Pause briefly at the top to really own the movement and feel the glutes working before lowering the weight back down under control. The way you lower the weight matters just as much as the way you lift it. Don't let it drop, control the eccentric, and keep tension on the glutes the entire time. If you're feeling hip thrust mostly in your lower back or quads, that's a sign something needs adjusting, usually your foot placement, core engagement, or pelvic tilt. Play around with your stance slightly and really focus on that posterior pelvic tilt to keep the tension where it belongs. Also, avoid hyperextending at the top. Overarching isn't a glute squeeze, it's your lower back taking over and doing work it shouldn't be doing. Quality reps always beats rushing through heavy weight. Slower, controlled reps with a pause at the top create more tension, more muscle activation, and better results. If your goal is building a glute shelf, hip thrusts done with intention, control, and consistency should always be a staple in your program. Your set 1 is a warm-up, so lighter weight, 12 reps. Sets 2 to 4 is your working set, so increase weight each set, 8 to 10 reps. Track your weights. If your hip thrust hasn't gone up in months, your glutes won't either. If you found this video valuable, make sure to give it a like and subscribe for more fitness and health related content specifically for us skinny girls. Stay consistent, stay confident, and I'll see you in the next one.